And so it is. Dear Shambra, time for our final questions and answers. Actually, Tobias, kicked back a little bit now. The energies change as we go into this final session. And I want to point out one thing before the questions begin. It truly is all right. Oftentimes you get into the mode of trying to figure things out. You expend a tremendous amount of mental energies looking at things or trying to analyze things in your mind. Stop, take a deep breath. It's all right. You've actually already created the solutions. Go into the simple mode, the basic mode. Just take a deep breath. It truly does work out, not because somebody up there is doing it, not because some other Shambra is doing it. You've already created it that way. When you try to figure life out, when you try to figure God out, or you even try to figure yourself out, then you get into this kind of convoluted, distorted, confusing energy. And it truly ruins what could be a perfectly good day. Sometimes you think you could need to focus so much energy on things to make them happy, or to make them happen. You think you have to get so enmeshed in it, and you have to add the ingredients of your worry and of your analysis and your clinging and all these other energies so that it works out. Sometimes you're afraid that if you don't absolutely jump into it, that it's going to fall apart or mess itself up. As you enter into this new energy, being a creator / manifester, just let go. Stop trying to figure it out. Just understand you already created the solution for yourself. It's going to take away a lot of fear and anxiety. It's going to be much easier on your body. And it's going to bring about the solution, your solution, a lot quicker. So with that, let us begin these final questions from Shambra.
Thank you. Tobias. Yeah. And so, with a breath, I am that I am God also. And
hold it a minute.
Let's gong.
Do you believe it? And before you answer, yes.
Exactly.
Yes. Keep breathing that in, and it'll start becoming part of your life.
Right. So I would like to thank you, and I'm sure all the other breath teachers were, for your marketing plug in the Shoud.
I didn't know you needed a teacher for breath, but that's all right.
No, I know. A facilitator. Okay. So you've listened to us complain about the body aches and pains for the past 10 years. It has recently come to my consciousness that they are a distraction within my body. However, taking into account the DNA changes that occur during this process, will the newly awakening have an easier time with the physical changes because of what we have allowed within our bodies? Or will they still have to go through the same DNA changes?
Excellent question. Thank you. Much of the work that Shambra and others have done around the world in the integration of the new DNA composition is going to actually make it easier for them. And the other thing that's going to add to it is a lot of the information, whether it's on the website or in the form of books, explaining that the body aches and pains are a natural part of the process. The more you resist them, the more painful it is. The more you actually embrace and embody the changes, well, the faster the transformation goes. It's going to come to a point where humans don't have to go through, they won't need to go through the suffering in the body, but right now, actually, one of the benefits Shambra feels from this is they know something is really happening. It's actually a good indicator that there are deep-level changes. But in answer to your question, no, the painful part will become less and less. Thank you.
Hello, Tobias. I'm truly honored to be here. Um, I may sound a little bit selfish, but I'm going to ask a personal question because after the shout, it became clear that I'm going to ask this because that's why I came. I know big changes are coming into my life. What do I need to know at this point?
Well, first of all, don't ever apologize for being selfish. Apologize for stealing energy. Apologize for abusing others or putting your power in them, but never apologize for being self-full. So you're asking about changes. You're not just asking for yourself. Every Shambra in this room, every Shambra listening in or reading this later is feeling the same thing. So I want you to trust yourself and stop doubting and playing this doubt game, because what you were feeling was a question not just about you. It was about everyone. So because it was about everyone, I'm not going to give an answer just for you. I'm going to say absolutely the biggest changes in your life, as we pointed out before during the Shoud, changes are a certainty. You can resist the changes and then life becomes a lot less enjoyable, but understand that you're going to have changes. You say, what type? Well, you're going to have changes in how you relate to yourself. Instead of seeing yourself as separate from your, what you call your divine, instead of seeing yourself in a certain measurements against other humans to help you to define who you are, you're not going to need that. So you're not going to be creating those external examples in your life to help you to show or to prove who you are. So you eliminate that whole set of experiences that were created on somewhat of a subconscious level. It gives you absolute freedom. The freedom has it so now, instead of wondering what changes are coming about, in other words, like there's some sort of destiny, the changes now are the result of conscious choice. And that's a very important point. Still so many humans, and even Shambra, still are addicted to destiny. They like to think that the changes that are ahead of them on the path have been planned or placed there by somebody else. They haven't at all. You're going to be releasing this concept of destiny and coming into a very, very focused point of conscious choice and creation. And you say, well, that's wonderful. That's incredible that I can do that. But actually, when I use the term addicted to destiny, I meant it very seriously. There are many of you, many humans, who would rather have destiny create your path so that you never have to take responsibility. Even if you say that destiny was created by some elusive higher self part of you, there's still this belief in or the need for destiny. That's the biggest change that's coming about for you personally and for Shambra, is to realize that there is no destiny. It's all about conscious choice. But beware, with conscious choice, you start to wonder, are you making the right choice? Are you so powerful you could make a choice that could blow up the world? Possibly. So there's a tendency to throttle back on the consciousness part of it and on the choice part, to go into neutral and to do nothing, and then wonder what's wrong. Adamus is going to work with Shambra on conscious new energy choices and watching how they manifest. No different than taking seeds, planting them in the ground, watering them, and watching them sprout up. And then what? What do you do with everything that's now grown? So, thank you for your wonderful question. Trust yourself more.
Hi, Tobias. When you were talking earlier about some of us departing, how can we tell that we consciously decided to stay?
Well, you can stand in front of tens of thousands of Shambra right now and make a choice, which would be one good way. It also has to do with, your general acceptance of life, your general outlook. I have to say that nearly every Shambra has gone through an experience or many experiences wondering if they should stay. Don't worry about the wondering. Don't think that you can't even think about it, because then you'll manifest it. And you see how once again, creators are afraid of their own creations. Sometimes you think, what if I just have one thought of leaving now? But the best thing to do right now is to take that deep breath, and for yourself, choose that you're going to stay. Choose that you're going to love and experience the rest of the days that you are creating here on Earth. In other words, don't worry about us coming to get you.
Thank you. Hi, Tobias. First, I wanted to thank you for your friendship, support, and love all these many, many years and lifetimes. And I hope that we get to meet in this lifetime. My question's about sexual energies.
Yes.
And my own personal journey these last few years since we last talked, my evolution, what's next, as well as for overall consciousness.
Yes, indeed. How personal would you like me to get?
Go for it.
I was going to anyway, but I thought I'd ask first. Now, so you have tremendous experience with sexual energies from past times, past lives. You understand it so very deep. It sings within you. You also know its very, very dark sides. Combination of your personal experience, but also affiliation or connection with others. You know its potency. You know what happens when a being falls in love with themselves. So you've been on an interesting journey these past, especially 3 years, but been on an interesting journey avoiding it. But it keeps coming back, doesn't it? It keeps tapping you on the shoulder, it keeps prodding and pushing you. You have dreams about it, but you're denying it. You don't want to look at it. What I'm going to ask you to do is just accept that you really do know a lot about it. You are going to make an excellent teacher. You're choking back on some of your projects. You're not letting yourself out. Why? One of the reasons you came here was to share with others what you have learned in your own experiences that also very closely relate to the SES school. Just do it. There are souls out there right now who are calling out for what you have to share with them. But you play this game that you're going to delay it, or you're going to make excuses for not doing it, or that maybe you're not a good teacher. Yes, you have a huge aspect of you that understands it so clearly, but yet is wounded. But the wound itself, that tremendous wound, is also going to be your greatest asset in teaching. So we talk a lot, of course. And you give me a lot of what-ifs, and we have a lot of dialogues, but all you're doing is delaying, and I told you this recently, you're procrastinating. And then it wears on you, and when it wears on you, you let it then affect your relationships with others and your work, and then you get into this low spot and you give up hope. Well, it's as simple as following this passion that's there. And stop worrying about how the success is going to manifest. It's not going to manifest in the way you think it will anyway. It's going to come in from different places. But it's your passion, and you're going to glow again as you get back into this. So unlock that door. Let yourself out.
Thank you.
Thank you. And even after I go, I will still prod you until you actually do it. And no more excuses.
Hello, Tobias. This morning when you lured me in to have a cocktail with you, I thought it was you guiding me as to which question I should ask, but now I realize that I'm so nervous up here. You were trying to relax me. I wish I had more of it. But you seem to be enjoying it more than me. It was a little strong for me. And what exactly was it?
Well, it was a taste of your own self, a taste of your own potential. potential, and it's not too strong at all, and it's truly not alcoholic, or it's not intoxicating to the point where it's going to dull your senses. It's actually going to stimulate them. But you, like so many Shambra, have been tiptoeing around true stimulation. And I know so many of you tell me, but Tobias, I really want this, but I really want this, what you call a new energy life. But I can tell all of you, you are holding back. You come close to completing the circle, and then you let it go. You come close to completing and fulfilling, you let it go. So you got a little taste of yourself.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now for the question. I was hoping you could give us a behind-the-scenes look at what's going on with Michelle and Sasha and Malia, what the female Obamas are bringing to the plate right now.
I'm going to ask you to repeat that. Most people did not understand, so state it very, very clearly.
Okay. Can you give us a look at the behind-the-scenes picture of what Michelle Obama and the two daughters are bringing in our current scenario?
Indeed. I'm going to put that back on you. This is kind of what you humans would call a no-brainer. Could you please answer the question?
Oh, Tobias.
Have another sip here.
Okay.
And I just let it come out. It's right there.
Okay.
I can see the answer, and then I'll give my updated version.
All right. Well, obviously, we are all going in the direction of integrating our masculine and feminine. And even though the focus seems to be still on the masculine with Barack Obama, and what a fabulous example he is of that, also I feel that his wife and his daughters are equally wonderful examples of the feminine.
See how easy it is. Absolutely. It's also showing the importance of the feminine. That's millions of people around the world are seeing the balance of masculine and feminine, both within the women and also in the relationship with Barack. Do you realize that this last week that millions and millions of people across the world started getting the importance of the masculine, feminine on a very literal basis in a relationship? That's not just the man doing the work, but it's the masculine and the feminine working together, creating wholeness. Now they're seeing it in two separate people, but they'll begin to understand it's also within themselves. One other quick note is one of the very prominent angelic beings working with Michelle Obama right now is Princess Di. So you're going to notice that energy coming out more and more, and particularly this year and continuing, but they're going to start making analogies. It's going to start showing up in the news, the comparisons, because that energy is right there. Thank you.
Michelle's smarter than her.
But there's a compassion.
Hi, Tobias. Many years ago, I left my country, in the Netherlands. I pulled my finger out of the dike, and ever since I'm wandering, traveling, enjoying myself a lot. And I just came from Central America with my RV, traveling up here to Colorado, and I want to stay here. And I made the conscious choice of staying here, although the end of July I have to leave here. I trust myself that everything will turn out all right, but I want to know how the energies are working at this moment.
Absolutely. Wonderful question. So you made a conscious choice. Now, you already know on a very pragmatic level that there's a lot of barriers. There's this thing that they call immigration and other issues. So you run into a dilemma and you say, am I good enough creator to overcome these obstacles? These are very strong obstacles. And now this brings in some elements of doubt. And what happens so often is they, not you in particular, but Shambra in general, tends to say, well, it's beyond my control. So I'm going to turn this over to God knows who, angels, entities, higher self, anybody but me. And then when things don't work out, then you first of all get depressed, you get upset with the other entities, and more than anything, you fall out of trust with yourself. Conscious creation is a very simple process, but it does require getting out of the mind. Conscious creation also is about letting go of the expectations. So here you're making a choice to live in Colorado, for instance. Now, it may take coming here, leaving here, coming here several times. There's another energy or energies games going on other places. But if you make a conscious choice, you will eventually end up here. In the meantime, understand that if you have to leave for a while and then come back, the leaving is as much of a part of the perfect plan of your conscious creation as staying. So understand it is all following a path or a cycle to its perfect manifestation. Let go of the expectations when they involve extremely specific tactics or actions that will achieve the end result. Just allow that end result to manifest.
May I participate in this?
Did you have a raffle ticket?
I don't have a question for you. I have an addition to the answer.
Indeed. Oh, yes, indeed.
Okay. Alexander, do you have a partner?
I already proposed here, so...
Okay, because Alexander, so you are technically single, is that true?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, I think we can find a way to get him to stay.
but
Ladies,
you know, I'd have to say the best way to attract this type of partner is to grow a beard.
I have a beard.
open your eyes, honey.
I know.
Okay, so ladies, he's looking for a way to stay, you know. Not bad to look at,
The highest bidder. Thank you very much.
Indeed, thank you.
Thank you, Alexander.
You've heard me practicing my song, and I wanted to sing it to you today. I'm a little nervous, and my voice is hoarse, so I don't know that I'm going to do it, but I know you know how I feel. I just want to thank you. You said in a Shoud last year that you were surprised that as many people stayed as have stayed, and it's because of you. Your humor, your passion, compassion. That's why we're still here. So I just want to, everybody listening, give Tobias a standing ovation from the bottom of your heart. I give you one from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you.
Now, I want to ask you about passion. You talked to me 7 years ago, and you told me that very high probability that I would find my sweet spot, and the passion would be so strong I would be like a bull in a china shop. And I'm just wondering if I'm still on track or if I've been sabotaging bringing my passion in because I'm afraid of being a bull in a china shop.
Well, I'm going to put that right back on you.
Oh, and I'm staying, by the way. I got to see this to the end.
So, are you on track with the passion? Have you sabotaged yourself? What's happened in these 7 years?
Lots of changes, but I feel sometimes that I'm just so busy. Life has become so busy, and so I wonder sometimes if I'm just creating the busyness to distract myself.
I think the audience can answer that for you.
All right. But they were jobs earning me money.
Oh, that is such a wonderful excuse. And because you have to do it for everybody else, right?
My children.
Oh, I know. And it's...
They're almost grown.
Yes, and if you wait another 3 or 4 years, then, well, they'll come back anyway. Or they'll return. It's a distraction, and you know that, I know that. Your passion, by the way, as you probably remember in some of our private conversation, is traveling, is organizing, and you've had a taste of it. You've done a bit of it, but then you allowed yourself to fall out of your passion. So anytime you want to jump back in, you can, but beware, it really might happen.
Tobias, deep gratitude for reminding me and affirming my feelings and my knowing. So grateful.
Joy. Oh, joy.
And so I didn't really expect to be up here, but I know there is a question for you here, and it is about your SES material. In the channels that you taped and that we teach from, you mention that this material is primarily or really for Shaumbra at this time, and that was a few years ago. So I wonder how you feel about that now. Do you feel that the broader audience, there's a broader audience that's ready for SES? And do you have any other things that you would share with us about SES?
Indeed. The SES material, of course, as you know, contains so much more than the words that were spoken during the channels. And the first part of the process was to remind Shaumbra, to bring it back, for we all knew it. We all worked with it before. So in these past few years, it has gotten very now as part of Shaumbra consciousness, very much a part of the journey. One of the very reasons that I am choosing to come back into human form is to work with this self-love, the energies of Aliyah, of coming back to yourself, and not just with Shaumbra. So that should be a pretty good sign that now is the time to open that up, not just keep it within this wonderful spiritual family, but to open it up. I'm going to be having discussion, a session, where I'm going to talk about some of the next steps for the sexual energies material and how Shaumbra and the teachers can expand it, some of my viewpoints. So we'll have that material definitely within the next 6 weeks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Tobias. Thank you again for everything that you've done for us. And thank you for the many blessings. I didn't come here consciously with a question either, but since my number was called, I assumed I was supposed to be up here for some reason, so that's why I'm here. You talk about the conversations that we have. How do we bring those into this reality and this consciousness so that they're easier to act upon?
I love that question because we have extensive conversations, sometimes during the dream state and other times in this waking state that you're in. There's literally a part of I'm going to call it the expanded intelligence or the expanded mind that knows all these conversations and understands them. You get the kind of the essence or the resonance of it in the heart, but the human mind tends to actually block it out because it doesn't come from the same frequency source as the human mind is used to getting information. As Tobias works with Shaumbra going forward, one of the things he's going to do is work very closely with all of you in, I'm going to say, dissolving away that door, that veil, that separates it. So you're no longer working on just the mental, analytical. You're also working in the divine intelligence on a regular basis. This is an important part of the process that he's going to work with those who are willing to work with him going forward. So I don't want to give a short answer to that right here, but it is about opening that currently closed off area that ties into the mind and the divine intelligence. And a lot of breathing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness, my palms are sweaty. Tobias, my fabulous darling. Hi, I'm back. First, I want to thank you about the advice you gave through Caldera. I just got back from Tasmania, and you gave me some very profound advice. I just want to thank you for that.
Indeed.
Yeah.
It was actually your advice we're reading and just relaying back to you.
That's what I was trying to convince myself of.
Yeah.
The second thing I would like, since we're all talking about masculine-feminine integration, and I can't say I've gone where no man has gone before, because certainly there are other men that have gone before, but I wanted to thank you for SES because that helped me integrate my energies beyond really what I dreamed, what my heart always knew, but beyond what I really hoped for, at least in this incarnation. Thank you. Okay, you keep talking about music. My question is, I need to do my music. Now, how can I do my music when I've released everything, I've sold all my equipment, and I'm out, as they say in Australia, match fit and on task, trying to get my financial resources together so I can have equipment to play music again?
Indeed, excellent question. And let's say this isn't just about music, but let's apply it to everything.
Indeed.
Often it is important to release, to let go of, or let us put it in perhaps a better term, to give freedom to all of those things that were a part of you before. If you give them freedom, you give everything wings so that it can seek a new level. Now, this gets very literal at times when you give wings to your old equipment, because it had old energy in it. It had old limitations and expectations in it. So you let it go. You let it be free. You've let just about everything go and be free. You end up with just one thing, yourself. That's the most amazing thing. Feels naked for a while. It feels uncomfortable not having all the old accoutrements and the old material things or even the old energies of consciousness around you. But you know what happens when you release? You're not taking it to the spiritual landfill. You're not destroying it. You're giving it wings so that it can go off into new realms, into new energies, so that it can transmute if needed, or it can directly be the messenger of the new energies that are coming in to serve you. The best thing to do right now is absolutely nothing. And that applies to all of you. In other words...
Would you tell my landlady that? I'm 3 months behind already.
Indeed. But what you are setting up for yourself here is a pressure. It's an old energy trick that humans use, but they set up tremendous pressure. And you're setting up this, a crisis, a drama, so that you have to allow some of these new energies to come back. The freedom that you've given wings to can come back to you now. Allow yourself to get desperate, on the verge of losing everything, including yourself. And then what happens? It seems like magic. The solution appears. It was always there, but you wouldn't let it in until you created high drama, high energy. It's an old energy trick that we're trying to get you all off of.
So are you looking for a bass guitar?
Well, I kind of already have one, but I need some more. Yeah, I need like an amplifier because I want to play here for everybody, And it's like I need money, and I've been actually feeling into, okay, this feels right. This opportunity feels right.
Wait. You just went so intellectual on me, and it hurts.
I know. Okay, I'll take some deep breaths.
Deep breath, a lot of breathing. Passion is music. Music will be totally different. Instruments may not even be the ones that were there before. Who knows? Who cares? It doesn't matter. Live. Let that passion come through. All the energies that are waiting to serve you, and I see them all around you, and they're waiting. They're just waiting for you to really let them in. Stop playing the drama game. Stop playing the elusive search, the hidden treasure game. Just let them come in. Just let them come in. You'll know exactly what to do. Shambra, not just you, dear, but all of Shambra, you sometimes have to make it so dramatic, so difficult. You're running around like chickens with your heads cut off and wondering where the salvation is. First of all, there is no salvation. Secondly, conscious creating is simplicity and allowing, taking responsibility, and it'll be there. That's all. You go shooting up into the mind. You're doing it on me right now. You have another question, and you're only allowed one. And you're shooting, thinking of your question. Stop for a moment. Stop taking that old pathway to solutions. It doesn't matter. It's going to happen anyway. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Namaste. Namaste. Thank you for your gifts to me in the last session that I was receiving instead of giving. I've been a certified massage therapist for 6.5 years, but I started doing neck and shoulder work back when I was 19. So I've had a lot of practice. And like you said, we're trying to give that kind of love to ourselves now. Having a little struggle with that. I am packed ready to go to San Antonio, where I understand whatever's coming next is going to be there. I thought I had dealt with this other issue that had come up several times, and it came up again on the drive up here. So I don't know if that's the question I'm supposed to ask, but I'm going to. I have witnessed myself in conflict, in war, where I was the avenging angel with literally SWAT team equipment, and I had possession of 5 individuals of various religious dress and garb that I was missioned with to complete their journey into the enemy's hands, because them visually seeing these folks would put an end to the war at hand. And in that message, I was told to prepare again for that. I thought I consciously chose not to go there until it came up again today. Is that before me again?
Indeed. You did make that conscious choice. There's still part of you that doesn't believe that is testing you, yourself testing you. That's an aspect that knows that you're really not still fully grounded, balanced, and loving of yourself. So it's going to keep coming back until it wears you down, until you give in to it, or until you create such a safe, beautiful space of self-love that it will go away. The integration will happen. You're not going to have to keep proving yourself to yourself by reaffirming your conscious choice. It's an aspect situation that's playing with you, gets into your head, it's playing around right now. Most of the Shambra can see it or feel it. This whole issue of aspects is more than what we can go into a long discussion now, but begin to understand yourself, your safe space. I'm looking at your energy right now, and I asked the question at the end of this last Shoud, where do you go? Where is your safe space? I have my cottage. Where do you go? I'm looking at your safe space right now, and you're always on the run. You're always creating it someplace new. You're always running from something or someone. So every time you create a safe space, you have to then collapse it and run off somewhere else. That's no way to live. And you don't have to live like that. You have to ask yourself, who are you running from? What's yourself? It's your aspects. This whole game that is being created and played is a variety of aspects, actually, that are working together to haunt you and torment you. And it doesn't need to be that way. There are those here who really truly understand aspects, aspectology. Let them help you understand why the aspects are playing with the game. Because right now the game, they're winning. The score is about 5-2 right now. And one of the ways you can get around it, playing the game, is you keep running. But they bring the playing field right to you no matter where you go. They're you, so they know exactly what all of your games and all of your tricks and all of your deceptions are all about. start by loving yourself. Not to talk about the courses that I've helped to channel, but between SES and aspectology, those are the tools that any human could use for falling back in love with themselves, rebalancing themselves, and understanding that they're the creator. Thank you.
Hi, Tobias.
So,
last
question. So you think?
Well, first of all, I have a message from Charles Barkley, who gave me this ticket to be the last question, and that's to say, bon voyage from Charles. And I kind of didn't even take a ticket today to ask a question because I've never asked a question. I've never been up here, but I wanted to I wanted to come up here and ask you something. So he kindly just found me and asked me if I wanted to have this ticket.
Isn't it amazing how
I'm like
happen?
It's been like this for practically my whole life. I feel kind of like a conscious Forrest Gump. Like go here. Oh, okay, I'll go there. And it's wonderful. It really is. And right now, I am not doing anything except walking my dog. I'm not working. I have money. It's not an issue. And my question...
I would love for you to, when you get a chance, to explain that more to Shambra, because they still don't understand. They think they have to be busy, taking care of everybody else, struggling through life. And if you don't mind me sharing, one of the things that you learned a while back was, it doesn't matter.
I thought I didn't give a shit.
You let go.
I really, that's truthfully.
We all have ways of expressing ourselves, but yes.
Yes. So you go along in your life, and to explain it to another person without them really wanting to hear it or understand it, why would I do that?
So often they actually are either jealous or suspicious. They don't understand. And of course, many are making mental notes right now about perhaps how lucky you might be, but it's not that. At one point, as you know, in the past, not this lifetime, but in the past, you had the experience many others are now having. You hit the bottom. And what do you do when you hit the bottom? Well, you let go. You absolutely have to let go.
Surrender.
Absolutely surrender. Perhaps not even knowing to what, but when you surrender, you're actually doing that to yourself. And you gave yourself the gift of surrendering, or saying, it doesn't matter. What will be, will be. Who I am already. Mm-hmm. You gave yourself that gift, and you just flowed right back into this lifetime and have been abiding by that guiding light to the rest of your life. Now, no doubt there are challenges in your life.
Certainly.
And there are ones that you have set up for a variety of reasons. But at the core, you have one of these basically low stress, gliding lives. Now, there are some who say, but then you're not earning your way. You're not no pain, no gain. But that's a game they're still playing. You're allowing yourself to enjoy life.
But on the other hand, the struggle for some people, and for myself where I have my struggles, are a part of it. Because it's the game that I play and the game we all play.
But let's take a look at the struggles. How many of the struggles are about you, and how many are about other people?
Well, they're probably the ones about me. Well, the ones about other people. None about me.
Indeed, very, very few about you.
Very few about me. But I take on the ones of other people, so I have them to experience.
Indeed. And you take them on with a certain grace and a certain, but also a certain animosity. But you're making a choice to take those on, and I would say probably about 75% of the time you're conscious that you're taking those on. So you're aware that you're letting that come into your life. So at the end of the day, it's still not, overwhelming.
Okay, but when people take on struggles, whatever they have, if their life is harder than mine or whatever, but that's their journey, right?
Indeed.
And it's okay.
Indeed.
It's all okay.
Indeed.
Okay.
But when
okay. Right, so you really can't. You can teach in a way, by example, and for what people want to take from you.
Indeed.
But see, I have always had a problem with facilitators. And I know this is bad for business. But I'm going to say it. Because I don't know, people go, and maybe it helps people, but for me, it's just part of the cycle. Because when you walk away, you're still left with yourself. So where can you tell people to rise up above this and get rid of the crap? That's my question.
Indeed. Excellent question, and what a wonderful insight for Shambra. First of all, any facilitator should be asking their client at the very beginning of the relationship if they really want to heal, and ask them 3 times. We've talked about this before. Because you're quickly going to eliminate the ones who are just looking for a feed fest and are willing to pay for it. They're coming to you to steal your energy. They're into such victim energy, they actually really don't want to heal. So you ask them 3 times, are they willing to, are they ready to heal, to allow some of these wounds to transform. The next thing is to ask them, are they willing to take personal responsibility for their healing and their transformation? And ask them again 3 times. And then ask them very simply, what's in the way? Now, this is where it gets complex, because they're going to play the game of, I don't know. That's why I came to talk to you. But the facilitator, the wise facilitator, knows that they already know. It's the facilitator's job to get them to be clear about the things that are in their own way. You have to understand some humans are so imbalanced and confused that they don't even know where to start. Some are in such a desperate state that they do need a guiding hand. But the minute the facilitator thinks that they're doing the healing, that they have the answers, now you have a very much of a feeding dynamic going on. The facilitator is feeding off of the client to justify their existence on earth and to make them feel very proud that they're some transcended guru type of healer. The client, who really doesn't want to take responsibility for their own life, just wants to steal energy, is involved in the process. And actually it's perfect, but it's really not going to solve the situation at hand. So the new energy facilitator always stays focused on knowing that the client already has the answers and understanding that there is 1,001 games that are going to be played and pretending that they don't know the answer. Okay. It doesn't matter anyway.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm going to ask for one more question. Last question for all of us here in these sessions. I don't know if Adamus is going to continue with the question and answers. Perhaps you better hope not. But we've been doing this for years and years, and at this point I would love for Linda to ask the last question.
Thank you so much. This is a very, very special moment, a monumental moment. It's the celebration of 10 years of such beautiful gatherings and Shoud and the Q&A. And the Q&A has truly been incredibly entertaining for all of us. Offered many chances for us to ask good questions, dumb questions, loving questions, but all of them, you've been willing to handle and take care of us and support us in our journeys. So actually, my question to you would be, you're coming back to be a human, like us, in a way. And I'd like to know, in the process of that journey, is there anything we can do? What would you like us to do that might perhaps offer you support back on your journey?
Indeed. Well, now, that could be a long answer, but the thing that would give me the greatest satisfaction and joy is for anyone who's been part of this experience over the last 10 years is to truly take ownership for it and to understand that it's not just me sitting up here in my third circle, it's not just the angels of the Crimson Council, but it's actually each and every one of you. In other words, really truly integrate it within you. Every channel, every workshop, every question and every answer has been a part of you. Sometimes there's a tendency to credit others, even say that other Shambra are really constructing the Shoud, but it was all of you. My greatest joy would be to know that you've accepted that, and that you take ownership in it, and that you're proud of it, and that's something that you can feel at every part of you. That would indeed be my greatest joy. And someday, through the one I call Sam, someday I would like Sam to meet as many of you as possible in human form, and for Sam to look you in the eyes, and you'll know, and for Sam to be touched by the material that you helped to create for him and the other humans on Earth. So that would be my wish and my desire. Also to understand that this journey began, such a long time ago, in those precious days of Atlantis, going through many, many lifetimes together. All of us have walked together and shared together in beautiful ways, but we made an agreement. We made, we could go so far as to say a vow. So one of the other requests that I would have from all of you is, let's let that vow go now. Let's let it go. We fulfilled it. We got here. We did what we said we would do. Let's release that vow and give ourselves freedom to express in any way we choose. So my last request here in this type of gathering, in just a moment, let's put the music on. Let's do the what you call the kumbaya thing. Let's all hold hands. Let the music play. And as it does, let's also say goodbye to our Atlantean and to our Shambra vows from the past, so that we're free to go forward in the I am that I am energy. And so it is.
And so it is.